My name is Emily Carter. I work as a dental hygienist in Columbus, Ohio. I have never taken out a personal loan in my life. I don't even like credit cards. I pay everything in debit because debt terrifies me. I stared at the email for a full minute before clicking it. It wasn't spam. It was real. There was my full name, my social security number, my address, my phone number, my signature, except that wasn't my signature. My heart started pounding so loudly I could hear it in my ears. I refreshed the page, still there. Loan amount $75,000, origination date 3 months ago, co-signer, none. Purpose listed, small business startup capital. 3 months ago, my husband Jason had told me he was working late almost every night. I suddenly couldn't breathe. Jason and I had been married for 7 years. We had a 5-year-old daughter named Lily. We owned a small house in a quiet suburb. We weren't rich, but we were stable, careful, responsible, or at least I thought we were. My hands were shaking so badly I had to put the phone down. Maybe it was identity theft. Maybe someone stole my information. Maybe. Then I saw the linked checking account for payments. It wasn't mine. It was Jason's business account. I felt something inside me drop. Jason had a small landscaping company. Nothing glamorous. Just him and 2 employees mowing lawns and trimming hedges around town. He'd always talked about expanding, but we agreed years ago that we wouldn't risk debt, especially not with a child. We had that conversation. More than once. I opened our joint banking app and that's when my stomach turned. 3 months ago there was a $75,000 deposit, followed by multiple transfers, $20,000 to something called C&J Urban Concepts LLC, $15,000 equipment purchase, $8,500 lease payment, $12,000 marketing expense, C&J. Jason's name starts with J. Who was C? My mind immediately went somewhere dark. I didn't want it to, but it did. I called him. He didn't answer. I texted, "Did you take out a loan in my name?" 5 minutes passed, no reply. 10 minutes. Then my phone buzzed. "Jason, what are you talking about?" My chest tightened. I sent a screenshot. 3 dots appeared almost immediately. Stopped. Appeared again. Stopped. Then, "Can we talk tonight?" Not, "That's a mistake." Not, "It's fraud." Not, "I have no idea." "Can we talk tonight?" That's when I knew. I left work early that day. I couldn't focus. My patient kept asking if I was okay because my hands were trembling while I was cleaning her teeth. I drove home in silence, replaying the last 3 months in my head. The late nights, the sudden gym membership, the new cologne, the password changed on his phone, the way he'd started turning the screen away from me. When I pulled into the driveway, his truck was already there. He was sitting at the kitchen table when I walked in, hands folded, like he'd been waiting for a jury. "Emily," he started. I didn't sit down. "Did you forge my signature?" He exhaled slowly. "I was going to tell you. That sentence is poison. I was going to tell you." "When?" I asked. My voice sounded calm, too calm. "When it was stable." Stable. "Jason, did you take $75,000 in my name?" He rubbed his face. "Yes." Just like that. "Yes." I felt heat rush up my neck. "You committed fraud," I said. "It's not fraud, we're married." I laughed. Actually laughed. "That's not how federal law works." He flinched. "It's for a business opportunity. A real one. Landscaping is fine, but this is bigger." "What is C&J Urban Concepts?" He hesitated. That hesitation told me more than any confession could. "It's a cafe," he said finally. "A cafe? You don't know anything about cafes. I have a partner. There it was. The C." "Who?" He looked at the table. "Claire." The name hit me like cold water. Claire Thompson, his marketing consultant, the one he'd mentioned a few times casually. "The one helping me grow my brand," he'd said. "She's just business." My hands went numb. "You took out a loan in my name to open a cafe with another woman?" "It's not like that." "Then explain it like what?" He stood up now, defensive. "You never support my ideas. You always say no to everything risky. I needed someone who believed in me." "So you committed a felony?" His jaw tightened. "It's not a felony if we're married." I stared at him. I realized something in that moment. He didn't think he'd done anything truly wrong. He thought I would be upset. Not betrayed, not legally destroyed, just upset. "Is she your girlfriend?" I asked quietly. Silence. And silence is an answer. I felt something inside me crack. 7 years, a child, a mortgage. And he had risked all of it without even asking me. "You forged my signature," I repeated. "I practiced it," he said quickly. "It's basically the same." Practiced it. Like it was homework. I walked past him, went upstairs, locked the bedroom door, and that's when I finally let myself shake. Because this wasn't just betrayal. This was debt. This was my credit. My name. If that business failed, collectors wouldn't call him. They would call me. I grabbed my laptop and pulled up the loan agreement in full detail, and that's when I saw something that made my blood run cold. The business address for C&J Urban Concepts. It wasn't some random location. It was an apartment in downtown Columbus. Apartment 4B. Leaseholder, Claire Thompson. He didn't just open a cafe, he invested in her, with my identity. I wiped my tears and did something I never thought I'd do. I Googled her social media. Claire's Instagram was public. 3 weeks ago she had posted a picture, inside a half-finished cafe space. Caption, building something beautiful with someone who believes in me. Someone. I zoomed in. In the reflection of a stainless steel counter, I could see Jason, smiling, the way he used to smile at me. And then I noticed the date. 3 days after our anniversary, the night he told me he was stuck at a supplier meeting. My phone buzzed again. A new email, from Chase. Reminder, missed payment penalty applies after 5 days. Missed payment? I checked. Jason hadn't made this month's payment. Not yet. Which meant we were already behind. I walked downstairs slowly. He was still at the table. Are you paying the loan this month? I asked. He hesitated. We're a little tight right now. The cafe isn't profitable yet. A little tight. I felt something shift inside me. Not panic, not heartbreak, something colder. You're going to fix this, I said. I am fixing it. No, you're going to remove my name. That's not possible, then I'm calling the bank. His face changed. Emily, don't overreact. Overreact. To identity fraud and an affair. I nodded slowly, okay. And in that moment I decided something. If he thought I was overreacting, he had no idea what I was about to do. I didn't sleep that night. Jason tried to come into the bedroom around midnight. I pretended to be asleep. I couldn't stand the sound of his breathing, the weight of him in the room, like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. At 6:02 a.m., I called Chase Bank. I didn't wake him. I sat in my car in the driveway, hands wrapped around my phone like it was the only stable thing left in my life. After navigating the automated system, a woman named Karen picked up. Thank you for calling, Chase. How can I assist you today? My voice trembled, but I forced it steady. I need to report fraud. There was a pause. Okay, ma'am. Can you tell me what kind of fraud? A personal loan was taken out in my name without my consent. She asked for verification. I gave it. My social security number, my date of birth, my address, everything that had already been used against me. I see the loan here, she said carefully. It was opened 3 months ago in person at one of our Columbus branches. In person? Yes. I was not there. Another pause. Would you like to open a fraud investigation? I looked up at my house. Jason's truck was still in the driveway. My daughter's pink bike was tipped over near the garage. If I said yes, this would become real. Police reports, statements, possibly charges. Yes, I said, silence on the other end while she typed. I need to inform you, ma'am, that if this investigation confirms identity fraud, law enforcement may be contacted. That's fine. My hands stopped shaking when I said that. Something inside me had already hardened. She explained the process. I would need to submit a written affidavit. They would compare signatures, review security footage from the branch. Security footage, which meant there would be video of him pretending to be me. When I hung up, I didn't cry. I felt focused. When I walked back into the house, Jason was making coffee. Where were you? He asked casually. In the car. Why? I called the bank. His hand froze midair. You what? I reported fraud. His face drained of color. Emily, what the hell? You forged my signature. We can fix this without blowing up our lives. You already blew it up. He slammed the mug down so hard coffee splashed onto the counter. You don't understand how business works. There are startup delays. Claire and I just need a few more months. There it was again. Claire and I. Like they were a unit. Are you sleeping with her? I asked. He didn't answer immediately, which was answer enough. I nodded slowly. Okay. He ran his hands through his hair. It's not serious. I almost laughed. You committed a crime for her. It's temporary. No, I said quietly. It's permanent. He started pacing. If you press charges, I could lose everything. I stared at him. You should have thought of that before you forged my name. He lowered his voice. What about Lily? There it was. The weapon. Our daughter. What about her? I asked calmly. You're going to destroy her father. You destroyed her father the second you decided cheating and fraud were good business strategies. His jaw clenched. You're being dramatic. No, I was being precise. That afternoon I called a lawyer, not a dramatic Google search, not advice from friends. An actual attorney. Michael Reynolds. A family law attorney downtown who had handled my coworker's divorce last year. His receptionist scheduled me for the next morning. Jason followed me around the house all evening. Call the bank back. No. Let's just refinance. No. Let's talk to Claire and figure out. Do not say her name to me. For the first time in 7 years, I looked at my husband and saw a stranger. Not the man who held my hand in the delivery room. Not the man who cried when Lily was born. Just a man who calculated risk and decided I was acceptable collateral. At night, he slept on the couch. The next morning, I sat across from Michael Reynolds in a quiet office that smelled like leather and coffee. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he leaned back. Did you authorize the loan in any way? No. Did you sign anything? No. Did you know about it? No. He nodded slowly. This is identity fraud. Marriage doesn't exempt him. Hearing someone else say it made it real. If I proceed, I asked, what happens? Best case, the bank removes liability from you. Worst case, criminal charges, divorce proceedings, asset division. I swallowed. And the cafe? If the loan is invalidated, funding could collapse. Good. I hated that part of me felt satisfaction. Michael folded his hands. Do you want to stay married? The question hit harder than anything else. I pictured Jason laughing in that half-built cafe. Claire posting filtered photos, my name financing their dream. No, I said. And for the first time since Tuesday morning, I felt clarity. That afternoon, I did something impulsive. And there she was, Claire Thompson, blonde, early 30s, stylish, confident. She was standing on a ladder adjusting a light fixture. She saw me immediately. Yes? She asked. I walked closer. Are you Claire? She hesitated. Yes, I'm Emily, Jason's wife. The color drained from her face. For a moment neither of us spoke. Then she climbed down slowly. Emily, I can explain. I smiled. No, you can't. She swallowed. Jason said you two were basically separated. Of course he did. That he said you didn't believe in him. That you were controlling with money. I nodded. And that justified using my social security number? Her eyes widened. He told me you signed off. I let that hang in the air. You're building this with money taken out under my name, without my consent. She looked genuinely shaken. I didn't know that. Maybe she didn't. Or maybe she did. It didn't matter. You should, I said calmly, prepare for that funding to disappear. Her voice trembled. What are you saying? I reported it. She stepped back like I'd slapped her. You're going to ruin this. No, I said quietly. He did. I turned to leave. Behind me, she whispered, he said he loved me. I paused at the door. That's unfortunate, I replied. He's very good at saying things he doesn't mean. When I got home, Jason was waiting. She called me, he said immediately. Good? You went down there? Yes, you had no right. I stared at him. No right? He pointed at me. You're trying to sabotage everything. I walked past him calmly. I'm protecting myself. He grabbed my arm. Not hard, but enough. Emily, think about what you're doing. I looked down at his hand on my skin. Slowly, I removed it. You should have thought about that before you chose her. His face twisted. You're going to regret this. The threat was subtle, but I heard it. That night, I packed a bag. Not for him. For me and Lily. I drove to my sister's house across town. I didn't tell him where we were going. At 11:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. An email from Chase Fraud Department. Security footage confirms the applicant presented identification inconsistent with the borrower. Investigation escalated. I stared at the screen. He was caught. And this was only the beginning. By the time the sun came up, my phone had 23 missed calls from Jason. I didn't answer a single one. Instead, I made pancakes for Lily at my sister's kitchen counter while pretending everything was normal. Because that's what mothers do. We hold the world together with duct tape and syrup. At 9:14 a.m., my phone buzzed again. Not Jason, an unknown number. I answered. Is this Emily Carter? A man asked. Yes. This is Officer Daniels with the Columbus Police Department. We've been contacted by Chase Bank regarding a potential identity fraud case. My throat tightened. Yes, I said carefully. We'd like to ask you a few questions. I stepped outside so Lily wouldn't hear. He was calm, professional, direct. Did you authorize your husband, Jason Carter, to sign your name on a $75,000 personal loan? No. Did you provide him permission to use your social security number for that purpose? No. Are you willing to sign a formal statement? I closed my eyes. This was the point of no return. Yes. He told me they would contact Jason for questioning. When I hung up, my hands were steady. Strangely steady. An hour later, Jason texted. They're saying this could become criminal. Call them back. I didn't respond. Then, you're gonna ruin Lily's life. There it was again. The guilt. But here's what he didn't understand. He already had. At noon, Claire called. I almost declined. But I answered. Her voice sounded nothing like it had in the cafe. It was thin. Shaky. Emily, he lied to me. I leaned against my sister's porch railing. I assumed. He told me you signed everything. He said you two were separating after the holidays. Of course he did. He said the loan was a joint decision. I laughed softly. Did that sound like something a stable marriage does? Secretly finance a cafe? Silence. Then she said something I wasn't expecting. He used my credit too. I froze. What? He opened 2 credit cards under our business, said it was temporary, they're maxed out. So it wasn't just me. He hadn't just built a dream. He'd built it on layers of deception. How much? I asked. 30,000. I exhaled slowly. So the cafe isn't struggling because of delays. No, she whispered, it's struggling because there was never enough money. He had been juggling debt, hiding it, betting on future success to fix present fraud. How long have you been with him? I asked. A long pause. 8 months. 8. Which meant, before our anniversary, before the gym membership, before the supplier meetings, I felt something inside me close permanently. He told me he was going to leave you soon, she said quietly. He told me that too, I replied. We both went silent. For a moment we weren't rivals, we were collateral damage. I didn't know about the signature, she said again. I believe you, I answered. And surprisingly I did. Because Claire wasn't the architect. Jason was. That evening, Jason showed up at my sister's house. He looked exhausted, unshaven. He knocked like someone who knew the door might never open. I stepped outside before my sister could answer. What do you want? I asked. Please drop the report. No. Emily, I could be charged. You committed a chargeable offense. He ran his hands over his face. I'll refinance it into my name. You can't. Your credit won't support it. His eyes flickered. Because he knew I was right. How bad is it? I asked quietly. He didn't answer. How much debt are you actually in? He stared at the ground. Over 120,000. My stomach dropped. Between the loan, the credit cards, vendor invoices, lease payments. He hadn't just risked 75,000. He dug a crater. I thought once the cafe opened it would take off, he said desperately. Claire had projections. Projections don't erase felonies. His voice broke. I didn't mean for it to get this far. That sentence. It's amazing how many disasters begin with that. I never meant to hurt you. But you did, I said calmly, and you did it repeatedly, every time you chose a lie. He stepped closer. I still love you, I looked at him, really looked. The man I married would never have risked our daughter's stability. The man in front of me had. Love isn't what you say, I said quietly. It's what you protect. He had protected a fantasy. Not us. 2 days later the official notice arrived. Chase had frozen the loan pending investigation. Liability temporarily removed from my credit. Jason was formally under review. Michael Reynolds filed for divorce that same afternoon. Temporary custody agreement. Financial disclosure request. Asset freeze. The cafe construction halted within a week. Without the loan funds accessible, contractors stopped showing up. I drove past it once, the brown paper still covered the windows. A handwritten sign now taped to the door, opening delayed. Delayed. That word again. 3 weeks later, Jason was charged with identity fraud and forgery. Not prison, yet, but probation was likely. Fines. Restitution. His landscaping clients started dropping him after rumors spread. Because small towns talk. Claire moved out of apartment 4B. She left Columbus entirely. She sent me one last message. I'm sorry we were both lied to. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. The divorce finalized 8 months later. Jason didn't fight custody. He couldn't afford to. He moved into a small rental across town. Lily spends weekends with him, supervised at first, now, cautiously normal. As for me, my credit recovered after the bank officially ruled the loan fraudulent. It took time, paperwork, statements, embarrassing explanations. But my name is clean. And here's the twist no one expects when they hear my story. I'm grateful, not for the betrayal, not for the debt, but for the exposure. Because if he hadn't taken that loan, if that notification hadn't hit my phone, I might still be living inside a carefully managed illusion. Still believing late nights meant ambition. Still believing we're fine meant safe. Instead, I learned something powerful. Love without integrity is just performance, and I refuse to finance someone else's performance ever again. The last time Jason and I spoke about the cafe, he said quietly, "I really thought it was going to work." I looked at him and said the only honest thing left. It already did. He frowned. It showed me exactly who you are. And that was worth more than $75,000.